Well, 6 years ago, the UN set the goal of ending world hunger by 2030. Back then, it seemed like an attainable target, but not anymore. It's now estimated that over 800 million people around the world do not have enough to eat. The island of Madagascar is facing a famine that the UN says is caused by climate change.
Chim Amor Kim Ali is a father of 6 from southern Madagascar. Once a successful farmer, he grew sweet potatoes to feed his children. These days, pounded corn is all the family has.
There is no more rain, no more fields because of the drought. I can go for days without eating.
Things are even worse for Claire. She too was a farmer, but now she and her grandchildren collect raisin from cactus plants, which they make into soup. It is not nutritious, but they are desperate.
I wish I had a bottle of milk for my children and for myself to drink.
More and more children are turning up at hospitals severely malnourished. Without food, some could die. Four years of drought has left more than 1 million in desperate need of food aid. Experts are sounding the alarm.
Farming areas are unproductive because the water sources have dried up. In addition, and in the context of climate change, we have sandstorms more and more frequently, and they are more and more violent.
Madagascar produces less than 1% of global carbon emissions, but the country is being crippled by the effects of climate change, leading to a desperate call for help.
The countries that pollute the most must help the countries that pollute less, so that we can mitigate the impact of this climate change.
While the president waits for the world to come to Madagascar's aid, time is running out for many families.
Well, for more on this, let's talk to Amanda Rives Argeñal. She's an expert on the global hunger crisis and is part of the disaster management team at World Vision. Welcome to DW. Now, we've seen there that Madagascar is in a desperate situation. What needs to happen for a crisis like the one in Madagascar to end and not repeat itself in the future?
Thank you for having me. Madagascar is one of 6 countries facing famine-like conditions or countries of extreme concern. The recently released Global Hunger Index lists 47 countries that really need urgent aid and humanitarian access. I can't stress, I think, how serious the situation is globally. For those of us that remember, not since Live Aid in the 1980s have children faced a starvation crisis of this magnitude. So we need immediate action, but also longer-term actions to address the underlying issues.
Right, well, hundreds of millions of people are still suffering from hunger on a daily basis. Now, is this the UN's target of ending world hunger by 2030 really possible?
We certainly have to hope and do all we can for that to happen. The global hunger crisis is being driven by conflict, by climate change, and the economic impacts of COVID-19 that have left people even further behind. We're seeing very worrisome reversals in development gains. The UN, is calling for $6.6 billion to avert a catastrophe and needless death. We also need greater investment in areas like peace building, climate change programming, livelihood support, and COVID-19 recovery assistance. These are the kind of interventions that my organization and many of our partners, partnering with World Food Program, works with around the world in 75 countries and most of the global hunger hotspots.
Now, there's $1 trillion worth of food wasted every year, yet at the same time, we're talking about hundreds of millions of people who are going hungry on a daily basis. What can be done to stop this from happening?
Sure. I think it's important to point out that the crisis, the most acute malnutrition crisis that we're facing is largely invisible because it's happening in some of the world's hardest to reach, most dangerous places. These are countries that have high levels of IPC4, those are very high famine-like conditions, as well as restricted humanitarian access issues due to conflict. We really appreciate you shining a light on this crisis and helping us call for action. We need urgent funding and those longer-term solutions. I think it's clear that the climate change issues are not going away anytime soon. Just over the past 2 years, we've seen the impact of hurricanes and droughts in Central America. East Africa has been affected by locust swarms, higher than average temperatures, abnormal rain.
Right.
So this is going to require significant effort.
Amanda Rives Argeñal from World Vision, thank you for your insights.
Thank you kindly for having us.